It was good. I had a conversation with him the other day, or I don't even know when, but at some point. But it was good. He expressed his ideas, just got to know each other. His kind of vision of how he wants to play, and areas that he thinks we need to improve on. But for the most part, it was just getting to know each other first, kind of conversation basis, and wasn't a deep dive. He said we'll get into that later, but yeah, it was good. It was a good conversation.
What was it like learning that Wilfred was going to be leaving and knowing that you'd be getting a new coach?
I think it's something that in this profession is always gonna happen, especially when you have high level players, high level coaches, coming through this building and being able to work with them day in and day out. So it wasn't a surprise because I know how good of a coach he is, that people are going to be interested in him. So yeah, it wasn't anything I wasn't shocked by, I would say. But obviously always, sad, tough to, lose someone that you worked with and worked well with.
It's nice to know that Phil was staying. And a lot of times when coaches leave, a lot of staff ends up departing, but Phil was one of the few staying. Really liked knowing that he was going to be staying here.
Obviously, for me, it's a blessing, when you have a relationship with somebody like that, and that is going to push you, and his work style and the way he likes to work. It's good. You don't have to learn a whole new routine or anything like that. So yeah, very happy to have him still on the staff.
And just what's been your biggest focus to see that? I know there are ups and downs last year. Just the off season, what were you focusing on?
Just consistency, and just being able to come in this year with a clear mind, being 100% healthy and ready for whatever is going to this year's going to bring. Every year's a new year, and there's going to be new ups and downs, but just trying to be at the best of my ability right from the get-go.
Were you still dealing with the aftermath of that injury that you had in Charlotte throughout the rest of the season?
I wouldn't say dealing with it, but just more so just the mental roller coaster of it all. Always having that in the back of your head. At first it was trying to get my body just to being back to trusting it and being back to where I wanted to be. And I felt like, it took me a while, but I eventually got there. And sadly, the season ended, pretty soon after that. So, yeah, that was my goal this year, was just to kind of come in and just be right where I wanted to be right from the get-go.
And you kind of came into your own yet again in the latter part of the season. You combined that with stints with the national team. Now we move into a World Cup year. I mean, this is sort of similar to winning the Cup in 2023, where you've got the body's working, the mind's working, the game's on, and now you've got even bigger things to look forward to, don't you?
Yeah, obviously it's out there, the World Cup being this year, but trying not to put focus on that, because I think if you look too far ahead, you lose focus on the present, and that's been something I really wanted to focus on, was just not worrying about what's going to come. God's got a plan for me, and just focusing on the day to day.
Phil's back. So is Evan Bush.
Legend.
What was your expectation, I'm sure, was that he would be back for another year, right?
Yes, yeah. I've had many conversations with him. Obviously, him and I are really close, and he told me pretty early on that he was going to come back if everything kind of worked out, the way it was projected to work out. And so yeah, very happy to have him back, and he's definitely a good guy for this, not just the goalie group, but for the team as well.
Thanks.
How do you mentioned kind of keeping World Cup thoughts out there, but I mean, that seems pretty big, the potential, but how do you balance that? How do you separate like what could be coming with what you want to be focused on now?
If I'm not focused on now, then I'll have no chance at the future. Honestly, that's the way I've kind of approached it as of late, and not just, if I'm not playing good here, I have no chance. So for me, it's just focus on now and focus on this team, the new staff, and just trying to be the best of my ability. And yeah, like I said, God's got a plan for me, and just gonna let that take over.
Do you have any indication from Henrik yet about how he'll use goalkeepers? Obviously, you were very involved with your feet and stuff. We talked to you about that early on in your career with Wilfried. Do you see that continuing? Do you see things changing? Just have you had those conversations?
Yeah, I think it's if you look at his teams at Malmo and so forth, they like to play. Is it going to be as much as it was with Wilfred? I don't know. We'll see what happens. But from the conversations we've had, it's goalkeeper's an additional player and can be a +1. And if I can help exploit the game, then I'm going to do so. But if not, if I don't need to be involved as much, then that's just the way that the game's going to go. But yeah, I think so. It's going to be a similar way, if I had to guess.
When we talked with Sean about having Laurent back around, he seemed pretty excited about it. You obviously knew him during his time here. Just your reaction to having him back in the building.
Yeah, it's awesome. Sean and I were talking with him after practice yesterday for like 30 minutes, 25 minutes, and it's just good to catch up with him. He's had a roller coaster since he's left here, but we know the kind of coach he is, and to have a guy like that with his knowledge and his passion for the game around us each and every day, and wanting to help us grow as players and to help him grow as a coach, it's awesome to have.
Time for a couple more. Patrick, you mentioned coming in with a clear mind. How did you reflect back on the ups and downs of last season, and how are you approaching this year maybe differently than in previous years in your career?
Yeah, like I said, just trying to focus on the now, the present moment. I felt like sometimes last year I looked too far ahead and not be just where my feet are and be present in the moment. And I felt like that kind of got away from me, and just wanted with doing that, I've had more of a clear mindset, clear vision of just overall just general mentality throughout the off season, and just trying to enjoy each and every moment that I've been given. So that's really been my focus, and I think if I'm doing that, then I can be at my best.
Was that a gradual realization, or did you have maybe an aha moment during the off season?
A little bit of gradual, but it was something that I felt like towards the end of the year I started to find that that happiness, that peace of just focusing on myself and just being present. And whatever happens, and just letting the best version of myself come out and not looking too far ahead. And yeah, I felt really good about it. And so when I went into this off season, I really focused on that and just focusing on each and every training session or lift or yoga session that I was doing, or just spending time with family, just trying to enjoy it all and embrace it all.
Do you yoga all the time, or is that a recent thing?
I do it all the time at home. Just got to start doing it more here, though.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Everybody set? Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, guys.
How was the recovery process like, and where are you right now?
Yeah, I feel good. Spent the first couple weeks in the off season coming in here and doing what I can to strengthen the different muscles around the area to help feel more comfortable. And I think this off season was centered a lot on that. Feel good and ready to go.
Is there any worry in the back of your mind? It was the same. Your
Mhm.
your right
Right knee.
Right knee. It was your right knee each time this season,
Mhm.
last season, right? Is there any concerns about that going this new season?
I wouldn't say concern. Obviously, it might be in my mind, but not really too worried about it in general. I think I've done a lot this offseason to make it feel as close to normal as possible, and we'll continue to do stuff every day to make sure it feels good.
What were the conversations like this off season? I know obviously you have the extension, but regarding where you will be playing this season without Darlington, there's always an option of moving back up. Have you kind of figured that out yet, or is that still a work in progress?
I think it's still a work in progress. I think once we get the new staff in, and I think we kind of have those conversations, and they kind of implement what they want to their tactics and everything within the team. I think things will kind of start to fall in place a little bit, and hopefully become more clear.
What was that like for you, learning that Wilfred was departing, and then Issa just said you both kind of talked a little with Henrik, the conversation, just learning who he was?
Yeah, obviously kind of close that chapter in our lives and in the club. We had a lot of success with them, and I'm grateful for his time here. But I think everyone's, flipped ahead to this new chapter that we have in store. Had the conversations with them, and I think it's exciting. I think everyone should be excited about him and what his staff wants to come in and implement. I know that everyone here is ready for him to be here and hit the ground running and be ready to go for that first game.
What has he said to you?
Just, it's not what he said to me, but it's just kind of the level of comfortability you can already see with the conversation you have with him. He's the person you can go to with anything, it seems, and he's a quiet voice, at least on the conversation, but someone that you can rely on to have your back.
Hey, congrats on the contract extension.
Thank you.
What was your reaction when you heard that Laurent Courtois was joining the staff?
Brought back some good memories. Just kind of with this time here. Having him around the facility again is great. Having him within the team is great. He's someone who, kind of from the first day I got here, has been a big part of my journey here, and so I'm grateful to have him back.
From the outside looking in, this roster appears to be very comfortable. A dozen players from the 23 Cup title game. In addition to Wessam Abu Ali, who has a couple of league championships and a scoring title under his belt, and now you've got a coach who's accustomed to winning league championships. Is there an overriding sense of confidence here that, wow, we've all been there before, we could do it again?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of been everyone's mentality and thought process ever since they stepped in the doors here. We know what this club stands for. We know what this club always wants to compete for trophies, and I think we have the players and the staff to do that, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Thanks.
You mentioned Brianna not knowing for sure where you'll be going into a preseason. Is that somewhat difficult? I know you played both positions and are comfortable there, but just not having that kind of vision of here's how my season might play out in your mind.
A little bit, kind of the indecisive side of things, but just going to attack every day, wherever in training, wherever position I'm going to be at. I'm going to kind of learn the system that way, and whenever the adjustment comes to switching positions, I'll do the same thing. Just kind of do what I've done the last couple of years, is adjusting to whatever's put in front of me, and I'll give everything I can for the club and for the guys around me.
Having Laurent back, you already said it's nice having him around a little bit. Somebody that at least some of you guys are familiar with in training, does that help a little bit when you don't have a coach here yet?
Yeah, I think so. I like the comfortability of having him around. You know what he expects, you know how he thinks, and just being able to kind of bounce things off of him while we wait. I think that's really nice to have.
Have you seen, I don't know if growth or change is the right word for him? Obviously, he had this experience in Montreal. Do you notice any differences, good, bad?
I wouldn't say, as of now, I wouldn't say so. I just think it's nice to see him again, more so than anything else. And just seeing his face again and being able to have the conversations that we had with him a couple years ago. So just excited for that.
Sean, during the process, what, for lack of a better word, anxieties or maybe fears did you have just with not knowing, and then how were those anxieties relieved once you had a conversation? You mentioned with Brianna that you felt at ease with talking about that.
I wouldn't say anxieties or anything like that. I think it was just kind of, when's it going to happen and who's it going to be? I know the front office and everyone always has the best interest at heart for everyone, all the candidates, whoever it may be. And I think everyone was just excited for the opportunity to see who it was going to be. And then once having that conversation with them, it kind of releases a little bit of it, to feel comfortable now that, all right, he's someone who's had success in the past, and now he's coming to a club that's had success. And how can we match up and continue to build a team and continue to take us to new heights?
And as you begin preseason training, what are you looking for in these first couple of days and weeks that will tell you that you guys are on the right path toward being as prepared as possible for the season opener?
I think the most important thing right now is building fitness and building that cohesiveness that we had. Obviously, it was a long off season, and how can we get back to where we were fitness-wise, and giving everything. It's easy to kind of go through the motions sometimes, especially with the staff not being here. But how can we lean on each other to push each other more and get us to game ready as soon as possible? And looking forward to that first game.
Change can be good, change can be a little scary. As it pertains to the crew specifically, what's the best part of this coaching change that you see, and maybe what's the most challenging part?
I think that first off, the most challenging part is it's someone coming from a different country, and I think a little bit now is waiting game to see when he'll get here, and we might be behind the eight ball a little bit in terms of how we want to, when he comes in, implements his style and kind of getting that across to us. But I think it's exciting also in the same scenario, just because it's someone new. It's a new chapter, and it's a new opportunity to continue to see what heights we can reach as a club, and how can we continue to bring a brand of football that the city can enjoy and that everyone within the organization can enjoy.
Is there a bit of a, gut check's too strong, but depending where you are in the pecking order on a team, a new coach comes in, it can be like,
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a clean slate for everyone. You know, it's a new coach. He doesn't really, he'll watch, maybe some clips, some video of years past to get to know everyone. But at the end of the day, he's coming in, and it's a clean slate for everyone to show him what you're capable of. And I think that's also, it can be a little nerve-wracking for some. And how can you kind of put that aside and just go out and do what you're able to do? And he'll make the decisions, and I think everyone respects that.
In sort of reading about Henrik's style, players kind of talked about being comfortable in the uncomfortable, which I think you guys have done with Wilfried. It's different, I think, in how you may go about it, but that idea of just being uncomfortable in situations that other guys, how much do you think that can help you kind of speed that along once he does it?
Yeah, I think with the history we have of, like you said, of being uncomfortable is beneficial to us. It's different if you're always so regiment in what you do, and now having a coach like him come in and, like you said, being comfortable with the uncomfortable, and having the history of that, it gives us a little jump on everyone, I would say, and won't make that transition period as hard, I would say. So yeah.